Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome everyone to this webinar tonight, the Immeri Opportunity. My name is Solomon James, and we are live. All right. Again, I'm reaching you out from Lagos, wherever you are joining us from. I'm seeing people from Port Harcourt, seeing people from Kaduna, seeing people from Lagos, seeing people from Abuja. I'm seeing people here from Ghana. We're expecting people from South Africa, from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, and other parts of the world to be with us on this call tonight. My name is Solomon James, and I am the Marketing Committee Chairman for Immeri Nigeria. It's my privilege to share this opportunity with you on what Immeri is all about and why the boss. Now, Immeri is an exciting opportunity that is helping to address something critical. 96% of the people lying awake at night are worrying about their health and finances. And this according to a Law Harris poll, that over 96% of the people lying awake at night, something keeps people from sleeping. And that is either they are worrying about their health or their finances. And tonight, we have a platform that is helping to address this, both our health and our finances. And that platform is called Immeri. Immeri is an international company that began in 2016. The word Immeri originated from the German word Immer. Immer means eternity. And they added the I to make it Immeri. So in essence, we are talking about Eternity International, an international company that is positioned to last. Now, what's the use and what's the excitement about the product of a company? What's the excitement about the reward plan of a company if the company will not last? And for many of us, we've been excited about a couple of things in the past, but they are no more. They never lasted. So Immeri is saying, we don't just want to create amazing product or give you the vehicle to create wealth, but we should be here for the long haul. So Immeri is an international company that is built to last. Now, these are the leadership of Immeri Global. Now, we have Mr. Tankamfo, who is the Group Senior Vice President for Immeri and is the President of Southeast Asia. And we have Mr. Lau Chongguan, who is the Group Chief Executive Officer and is the President of the Greater China region. And we have Mr. Yap Wai-Yen, very interesting man, who is the Group Executive Vice President and the President of Africa and the Middle East region. Combined, these three men, they have over 100 years experience in the direct selling industry and in corporate management. And they are putting that to bear to make sure that Immeri lasts long. Now, like I said, Immeri began in 2016. Started operation in China, and they are in the major cities in China. Immeri is also in Taiwan. You know, we have the Greater China and the rest. Immeri is also in China, Taiwan. Immeri is also in Hong Kong. Immeri is also in the Philippines. Immeri has presence in Brunei, in Malaysia. And when we say presence, we're not talking about online presence. There are companies that will tell you we're in 100 countries in the world, and yet there is no physical presence. It's just a website, okay? But Immeri, any of these places we are mentioning, there is a structure, there is a face. There are people doing businesses registered legitimately on ground to care for you. So Immeri has presence in Malaysia. Immeri entered the African continent October 15, I beg your pardon, 2018, okay? October 15, 2018. Started in Ghana. They came in and they had a soft launch, and the Ghana market was officially open January 4 last year. Now, Immeri came into Nigeria last year. That was April 15th. We had a pre-launch. Immeri is not yet launched in Nigeria officially. Immeri will be officially launched next month, March 28th. So some of us might be seeing a buzz around March 28th because Immeri will officially be launching in Nigeria. And as of today, we have it on good authority that the president of the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry will be a guest speaker for that meeting. That means Immeri has a corporate presence and also a connection to the people on ground. Now, Immeri also last year, November 29th, opened its a soft launch in Egypt. So we have the Egypt market running right now with an office space. And as I speak, Immeri has already concluding the registration processes and everything on ground for South Africa. Same for Saudi Arabia. Same for Sudan, and many other countries will be opened this year. So what we are talking about is an expanding and a progressively growing brand. Now, what our mission? Immeri's mission is simply to bring happiness first to ourselves, to our people, and to our family, touching our health, our financial freedom, creating financial freedom, continuous growth, and giving back to society. Now, what's our core value here? Immeri believes that sharing is rewarding, that it's more blessed to give than to keep taking, and we have a society that just want to take. Immeri believes that success breeds success. If you are the only one that is successful and the people around you are not successful, then your success is questionable, because with time they will suck you out. So Immeri believes in helping others to succeed. Immeri believes in what we call filial piety, which is having respect, love, and care for one another. Though we are divided by tribes and ethnicity, but in the brotherhood of Immeri, together we all stand. Now, who are we? Immeri is the exclusive maker of our state-of-the-art manufacturing facility that is dedicated solely for the production of virgin. Now, since 2017, Immeri has put in over $2 million in the production of just one product. And what we are saying here, it is not a third-party production. We produce this. Immeri runs what they call a growth university. Now, because it's not just joining something, being a part of something, they are intentional in making sure you are educated and you grow, offering training, offering education to our partners. Immeri also runs what we call Faith Foundation. Faith Foundation is the arm of Immeri that gives back to the society. Immeri sets aside 0.25% of its sales revenue for the foundation. 3 weeks ago, I was privileged to be in Ghana, where I was part of the team that went to an orphanage to go help and celebrate with the people there, and we gave back to them. So it's amazing what Immeri is doing. Now, our achievement over the past 3 years, since October 2016, first, Immeri has over 600,000 partners just within 3 years, over 600,000 partners. And what I'm talking about here, this is data for about 6 months ago. And of this, we are having 38% of our partners that are active. In the industry, this is basically about a 5 to 10% active partnership or distributors, but Immeri has 38% of it. Now, within these 3 years, Immeri has done over 280 million in revenue. And I'm talking about the number for about 6 months ago, and it keeps rising. Within 3 years, Immeri has taken over 6,800 of its partners on different incentive tours. About 5,500 partners were taking March last year on the Norwegian cruise. In fact, Immeri was the last company to retire the Norwegian cruise. The entire Norwegian cruise, 5,500 was boarded fully by Immerians, and we had over 100 people who had their wedding on that cruise. I mean, it was lovely. Over 800 persons to Malaysia, 350 to Bali, 150 to Dubai. The ones for Egypt are not even in these numbers. Like I said, this were our stats for about 6 months ago, so it still needs to be updated. Now, over 656 persons have been awarded with cars. Now, just under 3 years, and you join a company, and within 3 years, over 600 persons have been awarded with cars. That means something is actually happening. And to top it up, 2 house recipients have emerged in Immeri within 3 years. So imagine you join a company, within 3 years, you're a house recipient of that company. Now, what's our product commitment here? Immeri says our product commitment is simple. We produce products that come with conscience. We produce only product that we ourselves are willing to use. And our product must be made of high quality, made with very high craftsmanship. And as much as possible, our products should be green, and meaning they are made from natural raw materials, no chemicals, no additives to our product. Immeri runs 5 product brand series. We have what is called the Immeri Care. The Immeri Care covers our intimate care product. Immeri has what we call the Immeri Plus. It covers the health and functional food segments of the company. Immeri runs what we call the Immeri Bell. Immeri Bell covers our skin and personal care. We have Immeri Home that covers kitchenware and home, and we have Immeri Light that covers our lifestyle food and beverages. Now, in all this, 3 of this is already in our various markets. Now, all the products are not in every market, but like in Nigeria, for example, we have these 3. In Ghana, we have these 3. And some other markets, there are some that we have seen. I was in Ghana 3 weeks ago. There are some other products there. But again, we don't bring in product because we have the product. We need to follow every legitimate way to make sure they are certified and brought in legally, so that you don't have issues with the drug, the FDAs or NAFDAC in our various regions. So Immeri has 3 products currently running in our region, and we have the Virgin, we have Adwell, which is called actually Advel, okay? Addition to wellness, but we call it Adwell for easy flow. And we have Vitite. Now, in deepening this product, Immeri created what we call a triangular hub, starting with Ghana, because like I said, Immeri got into the African and Middle region, started in Ghana. So with Ghana, Ghana is able to cover the West African region, which right now Nigeria is also part of, and part of Central Africa. And like I said, November last year, the Egyptian market was open, okay, and our office is in Cairo there. So with Egypt on board, Egypt helps to cover the Arab world, north of Africa, and part of East Africa. And like I did mention, that everything is already on ground to open the South African market this year. Already we have distributors in Africa, who are in South Africa, who are already plugging in because of the excitement that something is coming to South Africa. And South Africa will cover the south of Africa and part of Central and East Africa. Now, talking about Africa, we understand that Africa is the second largest continent in the world and the second most populous continent, with 1.32 billion people total population. That's massive, and it's growing. Of this number, over 30 million is in Ghana. And of this number, we have over 41.9%, 14 million plus, that are female. In Nigeria, we have over 202 million in Nigeria. And of this number, we have over 99 million that are women, are female. Now, 3.6 million of these female women in Ghana represent 25%, and over 14.1 million and counting, representing 14.2% of the women in Nigeria, they are infected with what we call bacterial vaginosis. And this is caused by the imbalance between the good and bad bacteria in the vagina, which causes foul smelling, discharges, vaginal itching, gray, white, or greenish discharges. Now, mind you, these things are public issues, so you may not even get to know about it with regards to somebody has fever, somebody has this. These are private things that are not even mentioned. Now, let's take a look at probably the female reproductive system. When you look at a cross-section of female reproductive system, you see that this highlighted zone is very important because it houses the ovary. The ovary is what produces the eggs. So if anything tampers with a lady's ovary, it simply means it's a threat to the continuity of humanity, because once the ovary is not functional, obviously, doesn't matter how potent your sperm is, life will not be given birth to. Now, with the ovary being active, God kept it there for a purpose. But beyond the ovary, we have the uterus, because even when the egg is produced, the sperm is released, and what do we call it? A child is created, okay, and is deposited in the uterus. The uterus is supposed to carry the baby. But if the uterus is also not protected, you will have high cases of miscarriages, what they call in medicine abortion, okay? Now, so God knows that this place is very, very critical. And what God does or did rather, was to create a protection cap, because the doorway to the ovary and the uterus is the vagina. Now, so I mean, guys might feel that the vagina is very interesting. The ladies might think, oh, the vagina is my most precious asset. But you see, we are going deeper, because if anything bridges the vagina, any pathogen, any bacteria, any infection goes in through the vagina, it's heading in. Now, mind you that the vagina itself is just a few inches away from the anus. It means even how you get to clean yourself, if it's not properly done, can expose you to infections. Now, once these pathogens break through the vagina, what do you see? Look at your screen. You see that the pathogens begin to go in. So people are beginning to experience deep infections. We're having people suffering from what we call pelvic inflammatory diseases. We are seeing people having increased infertility. Today, there is an increase of infertility in the land. And most of these are not all demonic. They are not all spiritual. Some of these are infections that have gone untreated because people were not aware of it. We've seen virgins. I mean, the guy is a virgin, the lady is a virgin, and they are still having infertility issues. Okay, because for some of these things, they were infections that were left untreated, and these things have grown to what we call the compound effect. We have cervical erosions. We have dryness during sex, and some people complain of sexual pain, especially for those that are menopausal or postmenopausal. A lot of ladies are having dryness. Some are even scared to mention the fact that they have these odors coming out of their private parts. So they are experiencing odors and secretions, that bad fishy smell. For some, it's even beginning to affect their relationship with their partners, because instead of your fun, your sexual time with your partner, instead of ending with joy, with fun, it's ending with quarrel because of the smell, the odors that get to come out. This can also affect a lot of ladies, leading to sexual transmitted infection. Some of them have what we call allergy and neonatal infection, affecting our babies as they are coming through the vaginal tract. This can also lead to abortion, and we'll talk about miscarriages here, because once it goes as deep as the uterus, and it can also lead to women cancer. Mind you, you thought it was just itching. You thought it was just, oh, they scratched me. But you have noticed that it is going beyond that. That if these things go untreated, you might be dealing with a larger problem. Now, Vagin is our flagship product positioned to take care of these issues. Now, our Vagin is 100% natural, and the ingredients that make up Vagin is what you see here. Vagin has antibacterial and immune peptide also in it. Vagin contains organic acid, and the job of the organic acid is to reset the, what's it called? The pH of the vagina. You get to talk to a lot of ladies, what's your pH? I mean, who talks about the pH? Mothers don't talk to their daughters about pH. So how will the daughters growing up right now talk to their own daughters about the pH level? But people don't know that a healthy vagina is supposed to be between 3.5 to 4.4. When you go beyond 4.4, you are creating an alkaline environment. And you know that pathogens get to thrive more in alkaline environment. What happens if your vagina is acidic below 3.5? Now you are getting that dryness and other things that are causing the cramps. Now, Vagin also contains seaweed extract. It contains hyaluronic acid, okay, which helps to moisturize the vagina, okay, and keep it soft. Okay, that's the work of the hyaluronic acid. And it contains polysaccharide. The polysaccharide here basically is food for the lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is the good bacteria that gets to fight the bad bacteria, because it's like you cannot fight your enemy when you are weak. So yes, there are two kinds of bacteria in the vagina. We have the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. Polysaccharides are actually added to feed the good bacteria so that they can get the strength to fight the bad bacteria out. It contains vitamin E to help the hormonal imbalances in our ladies. I mean, some people go today, they go high, tomorrow they come low, like Ikeja Electric or whatever power system you're using around the world. So with the vitamin E, it gets to suit that and make sure the hormonal imbalance is taken care of. 100% natural oil is added. So what are we looking at here? Once these ingredients are put together, and the product Vagin is created. Vagin is an intimate gel. So when the gel is released into the vagina, as you can see, now in this vagina cross-section that we are looking at, you're already seeing the pathogens have already gotten a hole. Some of them have taken their own corner, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and I mean, they're like, they have become landlords of this vagina. However, when you introduce this Vagin intimate gel, the first thing it does is to enhance the beneficial bacteria. So you find that the lactobacillus begins to get fed, and within 10 minutes, these things come alive to begin to work. So you find out that the antipathogens that are supposed to fight these pathogens that have been there also are restored. And once they are restored, look at your screen. What do you see? Bam, bam, bam. They go into action, and boom, whatsoever is there is taken care of. It also restores the acidic environment. Sometimes in our houses, for some of us, you begin to see cockroaches roaming about and just having a field day. You begin to see mosquitoes in some areas. What do? You change the atmosphere. That's why we fumigate our environment. What you are trying to do is just simply change the atmosphere. They cannot survive. So once you introduce Vagin, the acidic environment is changed. So they are no longer comfortable to thrive in that environment. It restores it, taking it back to the 3.5 to 4.4 pH level. It also helps to repair the tissue of the vagina. We talk about cervical erosion, and so for some ladies, once there is a penetration, they're having those pain. The tissues are getting worn, they are getting torn, and it helps to do that. Then we have what we call the immune recovery, the TLK receptor, which is like a CCTV camera, helping to make sure that everything is in place and everything is going fine. What's the benefit of Vagin here? Well, Vagin helps to enhance friendly bacteria while inhibiting the bad bacteria. Vagin also helps to enhance, it has this enhanced self-cleaning and defensing system, and it helps to reduce the infection. Vagin helps in moisturizing the vagina. So for the ladies who are complaining about dryness, pain, and all those things, they don't even like sex because it's painful. You need to get cream, you need to get KY jelly and other kind of jellies to apply. This is 100% natural. It moisturizes the vagina, and it also tightens it. For ladies who are suffering from what we call vaginal atrophy, which is the looseness of the vagina, and this could be as a result of either high birth rate, okay, or high sexual activity, and the vagina is loosened. And you know, for men, once they release, okay, and the place gets a little bit loose, I mean, the pleasure of intimacy begin to relax. So it's like law of diminishing intent, and the intent to continue begins to go down. But with Vagin, it tightens the place up, and it's like restores you back to your virgin days. So helping to repair the cell, nourishing the ovaries, and helping to restore the elasticity. So it doesn't matter whether it's big or small, the elasticity is capable of taking whatsoever is coming in there. It improves the sex life of the user because it also contains this refreshing aroma. So for, again, we talk about the odor, it takes care of the odor, and also helps in pheromone secretion, which helps to also build and boost the libido in our ladies. Now, user feedback that we've gotten so far, and every day we keep getting these testimonies. Over 90% of the users agree that Vagin has this excellent anti-itchy eliminating effect. That Vagin also reduces infection and is excellent. Vagin has this excellent malodor eliminating effect. It removes the odor and also reduces the infection, and it's very good in removing those itchiness. Also, it relieves the redness and the pain. And over 95% agree that Vagin is highly moisturizing. It tightens the vagina and improves the quality of sexual intercourse. Every single day on our various WhatsApp groups and testimony and Telegram and Facebook pages, we are seeing testimonies of Vagin and how it's helping our ladies to get back their confidence. Now, so again, we have all this stated that Vagin does. Now, let's go to our next two products. We have what we call the best natural anti-aging products in the world. Truth be told, nobody wants to age. And remember, I talked about that over 96% of the people lying awake are disturbed about two things. People are disturbed about their health. So for some person, they don't want to age also. Now, we have two interesting products under the IMAP laws. So we have Vitide. Vitide is a soy micromolecule biotype peptide, okay, that is helping every one of us, okay, which is what Vitide does. and you get to understand what Vitide is. Now, with Vitide, there is more. Vitide contains peptide. And peptide is actually a short chain amino acid, a compound that is made up of 2 or more amino acids linked through peptide bonds, which are smaller than protein. And what peptide does is helps to govern and regulate the bioactivities of bodily cells. It plays a vital role in initiating physiological development and functions of the human body. In essence, peptide is food for the cell. In biology back then in school, we were taught that the cell is the smallest unit of the body. From the cell, you have the tissue. From the tissue, you have the organ. From the organ, you have the system. From the system, you have the man. If you want to correct anything in the human body, take care of the basic building block, which is the cell. If I ask you right now, how have you been taking care of your cell? Your cell is dependent on what you eat. And in our fast-paced life, how do we eat? How nutritious is our food? For those of us in Africa with a whole lot of carbs, how soon do this food get broken down for your cells to take whatever nutrient is left for you to begin to become effective or healthy or optimal? So you find out we have an issue here. But with peptide, which is a direct food feeding the cell, it contains 70 amino acids, including the 9 essential amino acids. The peptide purity is over 96%. The protein purity is over 92%. This product has very high absorption due to its low molecular weight. So it's easily digested and optimally absorbed by our cell. As you take this product, immediately you are taking it in. I mean, it's just digesting. It's just going straight into your cell. It does not break down. There is no third party breakdown. Like, I mean, if you were to eat, let's say you eat plantain, okay, or you take any of your carb, your rice, you will need to break it down. But in this case, it does not break down because it is already directly absorbed by the cell, and it has very high dissolution and non-genetically modified soy extract with natural grain raw material. Like I said, all our products are 100% natural. So we see here that Vitide is very, very essential to our body. Our body contains tons of cells, millions of cells. And they will tell you that every day our cells are dying. And the problem is not a dying cell. The problem is, do we have cells that are also coming up, that are being replaced? And like I said, your food, your lifestyle can affect your cell also. So what we see here is that Vitide helps to protect the cell, because right now it is feeding the cell. It's making the cells to come alive. Vitide helps to slow down aging, because when you have more cells that are dying than cells that are being regenerating, you are actually accelerating your aging process. But imagine the aging cells, the weak cells begin to come alive. Now you are slowing down that aging process. Vitide also helps to prevent cancer, because remember, we are talking about cells here. Most of the cancer issues, they are tied to our cells, because again, cancer of the breast is cellular. Cancer of the uterus, most of these things, they are cellular in nature. One of the ways that they tend to try to address this is by, what do we call it, is by chemo. And we know what chemo is. It simply means frying the cell. And with chemo, you are killing both the good cell and the bad cell. And which is why once they escape to another part of the body, it continues. So, but with Vitide, Vitide goes there to stop what we call cell mutation. If a cell is supposed to exit the body and it does not, it activates what they call cell suicide, that the cell destroy itself and remove and gets out of your body. Because if the cell that is supposed to leave your body does not, then you'll be having what we call cell mutation. We'll talk about that briefly. So it helps to prevent cancer. It is better to invest in preventing than in trying to cure. It helps to regulate our blood pressure, because again, you're going to see it helps to normalize your body metabolism. So making sure your body is flowing, your blood is flowing, there is no blockage, and everything is working fine. Vitide also helps to restore the skin and muscle elasticity. Once your cell come alive, your skin will be speaking a new language. It helps to strengthen our muscles. For many of us, we are feeling weak, we are feeling lethargic, and this as a result of fatigue. Also, so the Vitide helps to eliminate fatigue, because like I said, you might have eaten this night. For some of us, because of the traffic situation, depending on where you live, somebody told me this evening, somewhere in Ghana, she's held up for about 2 hours in traffic. So you get home late and probably you grab carbohydrate as Africans will normally do. It takes about 7-8 hours for these things to break down. So you find out by tomorrow morning, you think you are eating through the night, yet the food has not broken down. Your cell has not eaten. So you wake up as early as 7-8 in the morning, that you should be having energy to go, but you're feeling fatigued because the food is yet to be broken down, which is the reason why sometimes you throw up in the morning, you feel sick, and yet everything you ate the previous night comes out. So what was your cell eating? It was waiting. But imagine feeding your cell directly. It helps to eliminate fatigue. It increases the immunity, because remember, a healthy cell immunizes you, and it also helps you to lose weight, because once you feel healthy, check, you don't eat a lot of junk and all those things that we talked about. Now, again, with Vitide does a lot more. Now, let's go to Adwell quickly. Adwell is our last product for the evening. Adwell is a plant-based enzyme that is helping do a lot of things. And what are enzymes? Enzymes basically help to speed up chemical reactions in the body. They are catalysts. They break things down. And for many of us, we eat a lot of complex molecules. I mean, your eba, your banku, your akpu, your fufu, the things we eat with a lot of carb. So enzymes help the body to break down large complex molecules into smaller molecules such as glucose, so that the body can use them as fuel. Now, once this happens, then you find your bowels will be free. A lot of people are having issues with constipation. A lot of people are having issues with indigestion. Your bowel is not, your bowels are they are not free, and all those things. Now, Immeri created this patented product that we call BioEnz and Smart, putting them together to help speed up the micronization of the nutrients in our meal, and also to extract whatsoever is left and make sure it enhances it, okay? So that whatsoever meal you are taking, you get the best of it simply by taking Adwell. Now, again, Adwell contains 5 types of enzyme. It contains lipase. Lipase is responsible for the breakdown of fat and oil. Remember, there is an increase of cholesterol today in the land. A lot of people take a lot of oily things. Your meat is fried, your fish is fried. Practically everything is fried. So lipase helps to break down fat and oil. The body needs oil, but the good oil. The body needs cholesterol, but good cholesterol. In our meetings, you see us demonstrating within 1 minute, you see cholesterol being separated from those of your oil, the oils that you use. Adwell contains proteins, which also helps in breaking down protein. It contains amylase that helps to break down our carbs, our carbohydrates. We do the practicals where you see starch that is so hard representing your carbohydrate. Within 3 minutes, you see that starch becomes soluble, and within minutes turns to water, because it is in that state that the body can now absorb it. So why wait for 7 hours when I can take care of that heavy meal within 10 minutes? It's totally broken down, and the body can have a feast. The cell can have a feast on what you have eaten. It contains antioxidant enzyme, and it contains fibrinolytic enzyme, which helps to break blood clots in the body. So benefit of Adwell, it helps to improve intestinal health. And research and medicine have shown that a lot of our health issues start from our gut, start from our tract, okay? In fact, I saw something this evening that over 70% of our immune structure is in our intestinal tract. So it means once you are not healthy there, something is going wrong in your system. So Adwell helps to improve intestinal health. It contains this anti-inflammatory property. So in case there is an inflammation in your body, once you take it, it's activated, and that inflammation is taken care of. It prevents blood clots. We talked about that. It prevents cancer, and it increases your body metabolism, making sure that the entire body is getting its nutrients and everybody begins to function very well. And it also helps in you losing weight, because when your carbs don't burn fast, they get stored in your body as fat, and you begin to also add weight. So this helps us in losing weight. All our products are FDA certified. I mean, this is for Ghana. All three products are their 3 certificates. For those of us in Nigeria, they are also certified by NAFDAC. Any country we operate in, like Egypt, also is certified in Egypt. The papers are being worked on right now for South Africa, for Egypt, for South Africa, for Sudan, for Saudi Arabia. Those papers are already being worked on. So we don't enter illegally. We make sure that we get all necessary documentation. So for those of us that are medically sensitive to I hope these things are NAFDAC certified or FDA certified. Yes, they are. what's the membership plan to get on board with us? There are 3 doorways to operate the Immeri system. The first one is what we call the classic program. The second one is what we call the agency program. The third one is what we call the wholesale program. Now, because we are a global community with people listening to us across the world, let's stay with the United States dollars. Now, if you were to come in with a classic pack, it will cost you $161 US. Okay, so you can convert this to your own currency. $161 US to come in with a classic pack, which is the smallest sign-on package in Immeri. We have agency, which is the what I would call the preferred, recommended place to play to begin with. If you can, and you should join with the agency package, which is $805 US, and with that you are given a business account, and you get to also experience 30% discount on your product. Any product you buy, you don't need to rank. Just signing up with the agency pack, you begin to enjoy 30% discount on any product you choose to buy for the rest of your life. You don't rank to enjoy it. It comes with your membership for life. You don't need to do monthly auto-ship to enjoy it. You don't need to do anything. Anytime you need a product, 30% for life. Now we have the wholesale structure from tier 1 to tier 4. Now, on this level, rather than enjoy 30% discount on any product you get to buy, you enjoy 50% on any product you get to buy, whether it's Virgin, it's Vitite, or Adwell. And this ranges from $2,013 to $8,050. Beyond that, on each product you buy, for example, the $2,013 product, when you buy, rather than pick up product worth $2,013 US, you are giving extra product worth 20%. Okay, to that, about yes, 20% extra product is given to you. If you join with the tier 2, you are giving 30%. If you join with the tier 4, for example, $8,050 US, you get to enjoy, apart from enjoying 50% on any product you buy for the rest of your life, you also are giving 50% extra product. Okay, and this is simply amazing. Now, let's look at the Immeri opportunity. How can this help us to play? Where is this vehicle taking us to? Immeri says yes. With Immeri, you can experience and play in what we call the retail part of our businesses, and also make profit yourself, which is very, very interesting here. Now, you can enjoy 30 to 50% discount on retail. It has nothing to do with you bringing in anybody. It has nothing to do with you doing auto ship. It has not just, people just see the need for the product and they want to retail it. Immeri says, let's show you how you can play that game here. Now, let's take Virgin as a case study here. Now, when you come on board with the agency pack, which is $805 US, if you want Virgin alone, you can get 20 boxes. Now, in Immeri, you are not giving products you don't want. In some other platform, whether you want the product or not, they do a collab and they give to you. Immeri says, we don't do that. It's one of the boxes I tick for Immeri. Immeri says, pick exactly what you want. If all you want is Virgin because you see a market for Virgin, then so be it. If you see a market for Adwell or for Vitite, so be it. If you want every one of them mixed, you want some portions of Virgin, portions of Adwell, boxes of this, you can't do that. But in this scenario, if all I wanted was Virgin, you get 20 boxes of Virgin. The cost, the member's price for a box of Virgin is $40 US for a member per box, okay? And each box contains about 6 tubes in it. Now, the retail price for this, for a box of Virgin, is $55 US. That's the recommended retail price. Now, if you subtract 40 from 55, it tells you you are making a profit of $15 US. Mind you, you were given 20 boxes. When you multiply that 15 by 20, if you were to sell it according to the retail price, you have $300 US as profit just for selling 20 boxes, not 100. Now, mind you, these are female products, and I can guarantee you they are very effective. If anything works for women, they go viral. That's why we can go to bed knowing that this thing works. Now, just probably 4 or 5 ladies picking up 4 boxes, 5 boxes, it's game over. $300 profit is in your hand. Even if it took you 1 month to locate 20 ladies that will need a box, that is $300 US. Multiply that in your local currency. Now, remember, Immeri says whenever you come to repurchase, you enjoy 30% discount for the rest of your life. So let's say you put in the $805 US. to buy again. You don't need to do that. You can buy even one and still enjoy 30%. Okay. But I mean, I'm a business person, so I need to restock. If I were to restock, now because of the 30% that is applied, the members price of the per box that was $40 dropped to $28. That simply means the number of boxes you get is increased. Now you're not getting 28 boxes. Retail price is still $55. It means when you subtract your cost from your retail price, you are having $27 per box, whereas you had a total of 28 boxes. Now it means if you were to retail 28 boxes, you can make $756 as profit. Now imagine earning this in a month, and this in a case where 28 boxes, like 1 box per day. Now what happens if you're able to do this in 2 weeks? It means you can run this twice. I tell people you can even get sales girls, 2 sales girls, and pay them, and they just take 14 boxes in a month. I mean, you are making this, and you get to pay them without even you selling this yourself. It's amazing. We've had somebody sold 20 boxes in 8 hours because these products really do work. And mind you, again, these things are private issues. People are not talking about it, so you might not know the problems out there. Now that you know, let's go make some more money. Now, let's take, for example, virgin is not your market. You see a lot of men struggling with cholesterol, with fat, and things like that, with weight, weakness, different body ailments. And you said, no, let's do Vita, let's do Adwell. Now, Adwell and Vita is the same amount. So if you are signing up with $805, you are going to get 6 boxes of Vita or Adwell. The cost, members price for a box of Adwell or Vita is $134. The retail price is $187. The profit on each box is $53. So if you multiply 53 by 6, it's going to give you $318. Just selling 6 boxes in 1 full month. You cannot find 6 men or 6 women that need this product. Now, if you were to repurchase, Immeri says, with your repurchase comes the 30% discount. So the cost per box dropped from $134 to $101. Now, the retail price is still the same. Now, when you subtract that, what you are seeing here, it's amazing. You are having about $86 per profit on a box. Multiply that by 8, because right now you have 8 boxes, okay? You have 8 boxes. It simply says to you that with this, your profit margin has just increased. $688 just for selling 8 boxes, not 100 boxes of Vita or Adwell. I mean, imagine this happening in a month. Now, everything I've mentioned here has nothing to do with you bringing anybody. It has nothing to do with you doing anything else. This is just simply retail business. I mean, you see the need, you fill the gap, you make money with the product. But Immeri says beyond that, we have 11 bonus categories, lucrative payout system. There are no monthly maintenance in Immeri. There's nothing like monthly autoship. You don't need to balance a leg. You don't need every month. You must buy this, otherwise your points will flush. No flushing of point, no balancing of leg. I mean, you choose what you want. It's a buffet, okay? So you serve yourself, whichever suits you. But we have what we call sponsor bonus, team bonus, elite bonus, promotional bonus, leadership bonus, director development bonus, same rank bonus, repurchase bonus, travel incentive, car reward, even a house reward in Immeri. Now, let's go with the sponsor bonus. Immeri says every time you sign up somebody, you got somebody in, and the person joins, whether the person is joining to use the product, the person is joining to retail the product, or the person is joining to build a business, as I will be showing you, you're going to earn 5% from that person. But imagine that that person gets to share with somebody else, you are going to earn 5%, even though you didn't bring the second person. Most times wealth is created from your second generation. So sometimes you just wake up and you're seeing monies in your pocket, in your wallet, or at your back office that you don't even know. And before I forget, Immeri pays you real time. We don't do Green Monday, Green Tuesday, Green Saturday. We pay you instantly, real time. It is give us now our daily bread, not even give us this daily. Immeri does not pay at the end of the day. This, once that activity is happening, check your back office the same minute. You can get that, you see that fund, and you can make a withdrawal for that fund to your currency account. Now, if we were to have somebody who joins with a wholesale, rather than go 2 levels deep, now you are going to go 3 levels deep. The first generation, you're going to earn 10% of anybody coming in with a wholesale. Your second generation, you earn 5%, and your third generation, you earn 5%. So imagine somebody coming with probably the $8,050 and you get to enjoy 10% of that. and down 3 levels also. Now, this is where the business begin to go on auto. Immeri operates what we call the Immeri Synergistic Board Breaking Plan. I want to believe that this was taken from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and you've got to read that book. It's a classic book that I recommend you read. Go to chapter 6. It talks about synergy. Synergy is the highest form of life. Now, somebody must not lose for you to win. Sometimes I tell people when I listen to our prayer point, I know that we are not synergistic because somebody must fall for you to rise. Somebody must die for you to live. Immeri says, can we play win-win? Can we have something going that everybody wins? So sometimes when you see partners of Immeri posting that with Immeri everybody wins because you don't need to go down, you're going to see how this works. Now, in Immeri we have what we call membership ranking. When you join with the agency pack, you are an associate. From an associate, you rank advanced to become an elite associate. You move to an executive, elite executive, you become a manager, and you move to an elite manager, you become a director, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star director, you become an ambassador in the company. So we have a Sapphire ambassador, Emerald ambassador, and all eyes are on becoming a diamond ambassador. How does this play out? The board dynamic is simple. In 3 simple steps, how do I play in this game? Step 1, when you join, you get on a board where everyone works together, recruiting until the board gets full. In most network marketing structure, you get to benefit from what you and your team alone is building. Immeri says no. We operate a board of 15 people. So you are seeing this board, okay? Board, it's 15 people, 7 at the top. The elite, the first person is called the elite, the leader of the board. Then we have Beverly, Carl, we have David, we have El, we have Frank, we have Greg. Now, in this case, there are 8 empty slots beneath. We call them tags. It is the duty of everybody to fill this board. Now, and trust me, the people at the top could be from varying countries. Beverly could be from the US, David could be from Ghana, Frank could be from South Africa, Greg could be from Egypt, and Carl could be from Nigeria. Different people can be on the board. It's possible for everyone to be from the same country on a board, but in most cases you see the mix of other nationals on the same board. So it's synergistic, it's not all about you. Now, their duty is to fill the base of the board. So in this case, let's say somebody like Beverly gets to sponsor Harry. Beverly sponsored you. Beverly sponsored Jack. Beverly sponsored Kim. In this case, we say that Bev has 4 recruits because Bev brought in these 4 people. Now, in our Immeri terms, we call it qualifications. So Beverly has 4 qualifications. Now, we can also see where L probably got 1 person in, recruited 1 person. That means L has 1 qualification. Now, you seen the position that there are 3 more slots opening up, and you choose to fill in that 3. You get to talk to 3 of your friends. Perhaps they're on this webinar with you. Perhaps they are here listening to me right away. And once we are done, they said to you, look, I'm in, let's plug in. And the 3 of them come in. Now you have 3 qualifications. In this board that we are extracting right now, Beverly has 4, L has 1, you have 3. Now, how does this play out? Now, it takes us to step 2. Immeri says the 2 people with the highest sponsor of recruits or qualification on that board will become the leaders of that board. How does that play? Remember I said Immeri operates a board of 15 people, 7 at the top and 8 beneath. Right now, Beverly has 4, you have 3, and L has 1. Now, the system operates in such a way that once the last person comes in, whosoever is the elite moves away, is being promoted. So for Oliver coming on board, the elite that was A moves away. When you remove 1 out of 15, it means there are 7 people, 14 people, I beg your pardon. Now, Immeri says that 14 people, the board will break into 2. We now have what we call a board A and a board B, or a group A1 and a group A2. In this case, the 2 people with the highest sponsor will become the elite. Again, when you take a look at the board, you find out that Beverly had 4. So Beverly becomes the elite, the new elite on the board. The next board that is broken. You had 3 because the rule said the 2 members were the highest. Looking at the board, the 2 of you ranked higher. And so you become the elite on the next board. Now, the system looks at it and says, who is next on this board? Let's do some placement on this board. As an elite, when your new board gets full, you rank advanced automatically. I did mention that. So how does this play? Let's take a scenario that this is you. Now, you are the elite on the board. We have L, David, Greg, Jack, Max, Oliver, all coming on your board when it was divided based on two parameters, the number of people they have or the time they come in. So this is your board. And you find out that once number 1 to number 7 comes on the board, and the number 8 person comes in, the number 8 person is a very special person on any board that you had. Okay, but the number 8 person will always break the board into 2 because that's the 15th person. So that means whoever is the elite will move. When your board gets full, you are the elite, you are promoted to the next rank. There is no BV for you to be promoted. You don't need to buy product for you to be promoted. You don't need to balance leg for you to be promoted. Number 1 to number 8 could have been brought in by somebody that is not in your team. You will still be promoted as an elite. So the magic here is simply getting 3 leaders, minimum of 3 leaders to secure your elite position, because it's just a board of 8 people. All you need to do is just take 3 or 4 slots. Game over. So Immeri is asking to come and bring 100 persons, 3 people, 4 persons, you are an elite on your board. So once that happens, you automatically rank advanced. You don't pay upgrade fee. You move to the next rank automatically. So once the 8th person comes, you are promoted to the next rank. So let's do see how you are paid on the board. And let's use the associate board as an example, because basically that's where you should be playing. Now remember, it's a board of 15 persons. So you are the elite and you have other people on the board. Now, Kathy is there with 1 qualification. Greg is there with 1 qualification. For you being the elite, Immeri says, once you are the elite, instantly you are the elite, nothing has even happened on your board. Just for being an elite, immediately you hit that elite rank, you are paid what we call an elite bonus. It's $161 US. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that you just hit that rank. $161 US is paid to you. Now, per person that drops on your board, okay, you are paid what we call a team bonus. From H to N, the first 7 people, whether you know them or not, whether it is your team bringing them or not, whether it's another team, whether it's another country that is putting them on your board, once they land on your board, you are paid $32 US just because you are the elite. We call it team bonus. Now you are earning from people you don't even know. So $32 US times 7. Now, for the last person, the O, like I said, is a special person. Rather than pay you $32, Immeri says, you know what? We multiply the money by 3. It's supposed to be $36, but they are 96, because 32 times 3 will give you actually 96, but they pay you $97 US, so it's times 3. For just that last person alone, you don't need to know who that person is. You don't need to bring that person. Now, for that person coming in, remember, it will break the board. As you are leaving the board, Immeri pays you what they call a promotional bonus. So Immeri gets to pay you again a promotional bonus just for this last person of $161 US. Now, from number H to number O is called a cycle. It's called a cycle. So what are we looking at here? This is because you are the elite. So the minimum you earn as the elite here, you earn $644 US as the elite alone. Now, what happens if I'm not the elite? Kathy happens to have 1 person. Immeri says, even for having 1 person, we pay you. This is not a system where you must have 100 persons to be paid. 1 person is enough for you to be paid. If you have 1 person on the associate board and you're on the associate board, per person that drops on the board, you are paid $5 US. The rest are coming on the board. You are not the one bringing them. It's not your team. You don't know them. You just simply have 1 person. Immeri says for each person that drops, you are paid $5. 5 times 8, which is H2O. Now, you can stay on this board up to 20 cycles, because once the board gets to O, it breaks. You still have 1 person. Nobody else have joined you. Immeri says, as the board breaks, you will still be at the top of the board. Keep paying that person, whether the person has brought another person or not. So you can stay on that board for 20 cycles and you still earn $800 US. This is guaranteed. It has nothing to do with you buying any product, nothing, no more membership, no activation of website. Just having 1 person, you are guaranteed of $800 US if you stay there 20 cycles. Now, and that simply means that's $40 per cycle. Now, what happens if you are Greg? Greg has 2 qualifications. Rather than pay you $5 per person, now Immeri says, let's do $10 per person. Now, you can stay there and earn times 8 times 20 cycle. That's $1,600 just having 2 qualifications. Have you seen the pattern? It's not telling you go get 100 persons. I told you 3 or 4 persons, you are actually an elite. 1 or 2, you will still earn. 3 or 4, you take the elite position. So the goal is to do 3. But even before you get there, you will still be earning if you have even 1 or 2 persons on this board. So with Greg having 2 persons, at least you are now earning $80 per cycle. Now, when you are the elite on the board, how are you being paid as the elite? Also, across the board here, as an elite associate, you as number 1 to number 7 is filled. Remember, you are being paid $32 per person. Okay, while the 8th person pays you $97 what we call team bonus for the last person. Now, from the associate board, you are promoted to what we call the green room. The green room is the board for the executives. So as other executives are coming on that board, and you happen to have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of your personals coming on that board, and you become the elite executive of that board, per person that drops on that board, you are paid $322, whether you know them or not, from number 1 to number 7. When number 8 comes on board, you are paid $966 for just that last person. You don't need to know them. Now, on this board, once you break out of this board, you are moving to the manager board. And the manager board is an interesting board. This morning, Nigeria produced a manager. Within the last 2 weeks, last week and today, last 2 weeks, basically. Today is 13th, okay? So February 1st, Nigeria got a manager. February 5th, Nigeria got a manager. February 8th, Nigeria got a manager. Today, Nigeria produced another manager. So whosoever is the elite on that board is enjoying something because people are coming on that board. Now, if you are the manager on the board, every time somebody drops on your board, you are the elite manager, you are earning $3,220. So imagine somebody, because we have an elite manager in Nigeria, who today, this morning, 9:30 a.m. Nigerian time, somebody dropped on that board, on his board. He was paid $3,220. If you convert it to Nigerian currency, that should be giving you about 1.1 million. Imagine somebody waking up this morning. The guy is not even in his city. Last week, people came on his board. Okay, so it's amazing. $3,220 for number 1 to 7. By the time the 8th person comes in, you are paid $9,660 just for the last person, the last manager, whether you know them or not. It's amazing, simply amazing. So what I'm showing you here is what you are getting as team. Okay, people are dropping on your board. You are the elite. This is what you are collecting from the associate board, from the elite board, and on the manager if you are the elite on any of those boards. Now, what happens if, what's the minimum payout you can get if you are an elite? Now, this is for the elite. If you're on the classic board, maybe you join with $161. When the board gets filled and you are promoted out of that board, you get what they call a promotional bonus. So that's $32. Now, as the elite on the associate board, the minimum you make as the elite alone, I'm not talking about having 1 qualification, 2 qualifications, just being the elite associate on your associate board, the minimum you will earn is $644. If you're on the executive board, this earning is just for the elite alone, because it comprises of your team bonus, elite. Remember, hitting that rank, they give you an elite bonus. When you, as people are dropping, they are paying you. Then as you are leaving, they give you a promotional bonus. So on the elite executive board, the minimum you earn is $6,440. On the manager board, the minimum you earn is $64,400. And as of today, we have somebody that's about to complete his board in Nigeria. He has 3 more managers for his board to be completed. Now, that means 5 managers have already dropped on his board. And remember, each manager is about $3,220. I mean, it's amazing. So totally, you are earning $71,484 minimum, because this is going to take you to a director. And this is guaranteed. There is no balancing of leg. There is no people. I was not in town. They flush the leg. I need to balance one leg. The leg is on crutches. Nothing like that ever in Immeri. Now, as you leave that board, there is no board for you anymore. When you leave the manager board, you go into what we call a director. You're like a shareholder with a company. But the company says, hold on, we have still more rewards. Remember the 11 reward system. When you're an executive and you produce an executive, we pay you an extra $161 per person. What Immeri is trying to discourage here, because most people, they use people. They use you to rank, and once they get there, they leave you, and you are stranded. Immeri says, until you bring other leaders up, your earning is going to be limited. So rather than put 100 people directly under me, that's why we talk about 3 or 4. Because if you're an influencer, then basically you need to support others. So for every executive you have, and you produce, and you're an executive, you produce executive, you are paid $161. What happens if you are not yet an executive and your team member moves to the executive board? The money is not gone. If you look at your back office, you will see the $161 pending there. The very second you become an executive, that money is released to you. You don't need to apply. Nothing is released instantly to you. If you are a manager and you produce a manager today, you earn $1,610. And somebody in Nigeria who is a manager produced a manager today, and that person also earned $1,610. The beautiful thing is that the person that became a manager today also had produced somebody who became a manager even before her. So as she got into the manager board this morning, she already had an extra $1,610 waiting for her. It's amazing. Now, what happens if you are a director and you produce a director? Immeri pays you $16,100. I mean, it makes it easy for you to want to support others, because as they are winning, you are winning. And again, in Immeri, everybody wins. Like I said, we don't have monthly authorship, or you must buy this, you must maintain this. But Immeri says, you know what? You should be a product of your product. Every month, from the first of the month to the last of the month, when you buy product for personal use, because you've got to take care of your health. Remember, 96% of the people are disturbed about their health or their finances. So even if you are making money, but you're not taking care of the health, you are still a defaulter. But every time you buy any of the product for a personal use, probably to retail to others, Immeri says we pay you a percentage of that. 5%, or what we call consumption bonus, is paid to you. It starts from you. Even what you purchase for your personal use, you are paid 5%. If your direct gets to buy, you are paid. You're up to 10 generations, you can earn 5% for what your team members are purchasing. It is not compulsory. But Immeri says this is another stream of income that for you, in most companies, you must purchase. Immeri says for purchasing, we pay you. Rather than you paying the company, we pay you. Okay? It's a beautiful thing here with Immeri. Now, when you become a director, I tell you, and you now move to become a one-star director, this for the director development bonus. To be a one-star director, simply develop one director. Again, we're not asking to bring 10 people. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's easy to support. So to be a one-star director, develop one director. When this happens, you begin to earn 1% of your group sale. We are not talking about net. We are talking about group sales here. Anything that happens in your organization on new activation sales every single day, this is paid daily. This is paid daily. For those in Nigeria, that will be 5 p.m. Nigerian time. You are credited. If you are in Ghana, 4 p.m. Ghana time, you are credited. If you're in Egypt, that will be 6 p.m. Ghana time. You are credited. At the end of the day, Immeri says, because you are not on any board, you are just like a shareholder earning every single day. Develop one director and you get to earn. To be a 2-star director, develop 2 of 1-star director. Now you get to earn 2% of the group sales. 3-star director, develop 2 of 2-star director, you get to earn 3%. Immeri has actually produced over 35 3-star directors. At this level, you're actually a millionaire in dollars. Then we have Sapphire ambassadors, where you are beginning to earn 5%. You don't want to know what these numbers are. If you are an Emerald ambassador, you are earning 6% daily. If you are a Diamond ambassador, listen, you are set for life. Now, interestingly, Africa has produced a first director, and Africa has also produced a 1-star director. Now, let's go to travel incentives, because as you're making all this money, just want to unwind. Immeri says, when you hit Elite Manager, we take you for your first all expenses paid trip. If you're a 1-star director, you enjoy your second all expenses paid trip, because you would have been an Elite Manager before you became a 1-star director. Again, we make that happen. Now, but if you're a 1-star director and above, so does that mean I shouldn't travel again? No. Remember, you have been paid every single day based on the activities happening on your team. whatever percentage you were. 1-star director is 1%, 2-star is 2, 3-star is 3% daily. Immeri also puts money aside, okay, for what we call your director development bonus, okay, and the same rank bonus. I didn't talk about that also. Every single day, that as they are paying you, they are keeping money for your travel. So you are not trying to qualify for travel, because you are making money daily, and you get to take these travel points and you travel whenever there is need. Now, Immeri also has a car reward. Immeri says once you hit a director, the first thing you get your first car as a director. The car is worth $16,100. 3 weeks ago, I was in Ghana with a team of marketing committee members and some of our excited partners. We also went to Ghana to celebrate at their 1-year anniversary, and we had a car reward because somebody had just become a director. Now, when you become a 3-star director, you enjoy your second car. Your first car is compulsory, you get it, okay? You don't monetize it. Your second car, you can choose to monetize it and say, I don't want the car, give me the cash. Now, I think this was, what was the date again? 3 weeks ago. We had this car reward in Ghana. And Mr. Prince Eric Kujo, okay, became a director. And on that day, he was celebrated and handed over his car, a Honda CR-V 2020 model. Congratulations again to Mr. Prince Eric Kujo, Africa's newest director. He's from Ghana. Now, we have the master board breaker, which is this Reverend gentleman, Mr. Daniel Kujo Sekwe. And he became the first elite manager in Africa and Middle East. He became the first director in Africa and Middle East. And he became the first 1-star director because Mr. Prince Eric Kujo came out from him. So for producing one director, he became a 1-star director. You've got to see his earnings every single day. In his words, Immeri retired him earlier than possible. And all this happened just within a year. Within a year, they've retired him as it were, and it's just a 1-star director with what comes to him every day. But before becoming a 1-star director, he was a director. That means he also qualified for a car. So on that day, he was also celebrated and given his own car. Now, finally, is the house reward. Immeri says, when you become a part of us and you build your business steadily and you become a diamond, apart from all the luxuries and all those things, because like I just spoke about the car, before you get the car, Immeri, you have earned enough money to buy cars on your own. Cars is not what we flaunt. Immeri says, you know what, earn the money, you can buy any car, okay? But once you become a diamond, you qualify for a house. It's not a fund, it's a reward, it's given. The car is not a fund, it's a reward. But the house reward here is $150,000 cash, or a penthouse in Malaysia. And this penthouse comes with a 10 years multiple visa to Malaysia. All of this will be procured by the company and given to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you are looking at is not a graphic. This is the exact house in Malaysia. We have one of our team members from Nigeria. I call her Pris Coco. She was in Malaysia last year, sometime around July, when this was happening. And something exciting, she was calling, screaming that something amazing. And because the company told us, yes, they have a penthouse when we get to diamond. So there's a penthouse for you. If you don't want the house, you get $150,000 cash to go build it wherever you want, anywhere in your own country, anywhere in your village or in your town or wherever you choose. But again, something exciting happened last year, July, during the convention in Malaysia. I mean, the company was just 2 years plus, okay, about 2.5 years. It's not even 3 years old. And the chairman of the company, Mr. Lau, came up and said, you know what? We said when you get to diamond, you will get a house. Emerald is 6% daily. Diamond is 6% daily. Just a little work and you get there. But you know what? The houses are ready. And we don't want to keep the house there. We are sweeping the room like J Mama and Pat Lion will be saying that practically every day they send people to go and sweep the house to keep it for you. No, we don't want to keep doing that. If you are an Emerald ambassador, come out. And these two ladies, lovely ladies, who just began building with Immeri in just 2.5 years, and they had hit the Emerald Ambassador rank, were awarded with their house. And said, know what, you are Emerald. You've not got to Diamond. Go and collect your key, go to your house. I mean, it was a boss. And he said, you know what? The next six emeralds that will come up will get the houses also without being diamonds. I mean, everywhere went crazy. Well, 3 weeks ago, while we're in Ghana, Mr. Yap, the president for Africa and Middle East, at the end of, as he was rounding up his speech at the Ghana 1-year anniversary, he said something. He said, you know what? That they have decided that the first African that will hit Emerald will get this penthouse or the $150,000 without going diamond. Guys, the race is on. All eyes are on this. But trust me, even if you don't become the first, you still have your location. Just make sure you shoot for the moon. So ladies and gentlemen, this is interesting. Everything that Immeri has promised, from the sponsor bonus to the house reward, has been given to deserving members. So I gave us how to come on board Immeri in US dollars. If you are in Ghana, you can join us. If you want to join with the classic package, you can begin with 785 Ghanaian cedi. You can come on board with agency, which is what I would recommend to you, for what was it? 3,925 US dollars. Okay, for that 3,925 US Ghanaian cedis, I beg your pardon. If you are doing the wholesale from tier 1 to tier 4, you can come on board starting from 9,813 to 39,250 Ghanaian cedi. For those of us in Nigeria, you can be a part of this. The classic package is just 59,200. Can you trust us with 59,200? 59,200. You can come on board with the agency package, which is 295,930. We have a set of young people, students, okay, led by a tsunami young chap, Oye. I mean, they are doing agency like pure water. These are students because they have a dream. Some of them are selling their shoes. Some of them, I mean, they are not looking at the classic package. Then you're a big boy and you're looking at the classic package. Hey, what are we talking about here? Go for agency, man. Go for agency and above. 295,930. If you want to do the tiers, it begins with 739,825 naira to the tier 4, which is 2,959,300 naira. For those in South Africa, you can join us by paying with the South African rand. If you're joining the classic, it's 2,576 South African rand. Okay, 2,576 South African rand. If you want to join with the agency, it's easier. Okay, again, like I said, I encourage everyone to do the agency if you can. With the agency, it's 12,880 South African rand. If you want to do, if you want to do the tiers, it starts from 32,288 to 128,800 South African rand. Then for our people in the Middle East, you can pay for those in Egypt. You can pay in the Egyptian pound. Classic package is 2,800 Egyptian pound. Agency is 14,400 Egyptian pound. From the tier 1 to tier 4, 35,000 Egyptian pound to 140,000 Egyptian pound. Where I believe we should have somebody from Saudi Arabia joining us tonight. People in Tanzania, different countries of the world, Kenya. I mean, we can help you get started. It doesn't matter where you are. Now, so what do you do? Now that you've had this, what's your position? You can join us basically just to use the product. There are people who join just to use the product. There are people who join to refer the product to others. In that case, they are gathering customers. They refer the product to others. Why others join? Basically to build a business. We are celebrating elite executives, elite managers, diamonds, and the rest. Interestingly, any of the membership pack gives you access to all three, okay? But variation in percentages of the product and other things like that. Again, you can join to use the product, refer the product, or build a team. So what's next? I encourage you to get back to the person who shared this with you so that they can show you how to get started. You saw this on somebody's Facebook wall, send them a message if you're interested. Somebody sent you a text message, get back to them. Somebody, you probably saw this on somebody's Instagram status, please get back to them. This is hot. It's massive. Something is happening. You've got to be a part of this. Whatever your decision is, get back to the person who invited you, and they will get you started ASAP. I like to close this way. It doesn't matter how things are looking at right now. Trust me. Those winning were not born to win. Yeah, you might say I'm a winner. Well, I'm not a loser. Nobody's born a loser. Nobody was born to win. Nobody was born to lose. We are simply born to choose. Those winning today choose something. They saw something and they chose, they believe, and they ran. Nobody was born to win. Nobody was born to lose. Nobody was born to choose. I want to encourage you, choose Immeri. Let's begin something incredible. March 28th, officially we are launching in Nigeria, and other countries of the world will be loading. Get back to the person who invited you. Let them know your choice. But choosing Immeri will be positioning yourself to win for life. Thank you very much for being a part of the broadcast tonight. I want to celebrate everyone